So, several Republican and conservative groups have invited pardoned Capitol rioters to speak at events across the country, including in California. Now, these individuals include members of far-right extremist groups like the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, as well as people who believe in crazy conspiracy theories like QAnon. And one event was organized by a group called the Association of Monterey Bay Conservatives. It was scheduled to feature these speakers, but then it was canceled because the venue basically had concerns about the content of this event, and the groups responded by claiming that the speakers were unfairly targeted by the government. Now, some of these speakers have really troubling and controversial backgrounds, including people who were involved in violent actions during the Capitol riot. So, for example, one speaker was previously sentenced for using stolen police equipment to harm officers. Others were involved in planning for future political violence, and one even plans to run for U.S. Senate. Now, to add on top of that, some of these individuals are still facing legal trouble for other incidents, such as stabby stabs. And these events are basically just highlighting the continued involvement of these pardoned Capitol rioters in these far-right movements, which should be raising all of the red flags because they have influence on public discourse, and there's also the potential for further political violence, too. The growing acceptance of these guys in conservative circles signals a very deeply troubling shift in the world, where individuals who were part of an attempted insurrection are now being celebrated as heroes. And it makes it quite clear that the broader conservative political strategy is embracing these extremist views, and it undermines the seriousness of actions like the January 6th attack on the Capitol. And as a concerned Canadian with elections coming up here soon, it's tough not to worry about these things when I see how far-right ideologies are spreading here, much like they have in the United States. Groups like Diagolon, which were tied into the 2022 Freedom Convoy, they were pushing extremist views that echo the dangerous rhetoric that we've seen south of the border. And PP, who's eerily similar to Trump with his whole populist stance, he's shown support for these movements that have embraced these extremist ideas. And as we head into our own elections, it's important to stay vigilant about how these movements have shifted the political landscape in Canada, much like they have in the US. And we need to be really, really careful to make sure that our choices reflect the moral values that we know most Canadians hold dear. So vote smart, elbows up, Canada.